Welcome back. It's Monday, April 20th, 2020. Hope you guys had a nice weekend. We were able to get outside, get some fresh air and some sunshine. We are back for another week of online instruction. Where we left off last week, we're going to pick right back up as we are working on finding percent change. So let's get right into it. My feed me pie and divide and conquer groups. So the problem that we are working on today is Nassam scored 5 goals in his first soccer season and 8 goals in his second soccer season. What is the percent increase in the number of goals he scored? Now, looking at what I've provided, there's a formula that we talked about at the end of the week last week of how we would solve this problem. So looking at this problem, I have the amount of change over the original amount equals the percent of change. So let's use the information from our problem and plug it into our formula. So I have the amount of change. So what has changed here? In his first season, he scored 5 goals. In his second season, he scored 8. So that would be a change or a positive change or an increase. It's going up. So what we're going to do is we are going to plug in 8 and we're going to subtract 5 because when we take 8 minus 5, that's going to give me the amount of change. And I'm going to divide that by my original amount, which would be 5. And that's going to equal my percent of change. We talked about it at the end of the week, but percents have to do with numbers out of 100. So I'm going to have X, that's going to be a variable. I don't know what the percent of change is, but I do know that it's going to be over 100 because percents are out of 100. Now, I'm looking at this. 8 minus 5 would give me 3. So I have 3 over 5 equals X over 100. Now, I could solve this one of 2 ways, and you need to think about what way works best for you. I'm trying to figure out what is the value for this for this letter X. It's a variable. It takes the place of an unknown number. Now, I could look at this and say, okay, 5 can become 100 in what way? These are equivalent fractions at this point. 5 can become 100 by multiplying it by 20. So if I'm multiplying 5 by 20 to become 100, I have to do the same thing to my numerator. And I take 3 times 20. 20 is because 5 times 20 gives me 100. 3 times 20 gives me, that's right, 60. So X equals 60. Now, there's another way to solve this, okay? But before we do that, we need to make sure that we understand what the problem is. What is the percent of change? The percent of change would be 60%. So what that means is, that from going from 5 goals in the first season to 8 goals in the second season, there's a 60% increase. Well done, Nassam. Now, the other way to solve it is we can use cross products, where I still have 3/5 equals X over 100. And I'm going to do my cross multiplication, okay? And when I do my cross multiplication, I multiply 3 times 100 and 5 times X. 3 times 100 is 300. 5 times X is just 5 times X. And what we want to do is we want to get this variable by itself. So we're going to do the inverse operation and we're going to divide. I divide this side by 5 and then I divide 300 by 5. And that leaves 5 divided by 5 leaves me with X by itself. And 300 divided by 5, oh my goodness, wait for it. Isn't math awesome? 300 divided by 5 is 60. Wow. So the percent of change is 60%. How about that? So we've just solved this problem, finding percent change in not one, but 2 ways. So what I'd like you to do is do your very best solving problems with percent change for your practice today. Work hard and ask questions. I'm here to help. Rock it, guys.